I'm Catherine Dow. It's Tuesday, July 8th. Today, a mid-air collision.
Devastated. It's really very personal.
Two flying students are dead after planes collide over a southern Manitoba city. Also today, grandparent scam. Investigators catch a suspect in an elaborate scheme that defrauded seniors out of millions. And a trail of two cities.
Sometimes, the closer communities are, the more rivalries you see.
How a hiking trail is bringing two Manitoba communities a little closer together.
Just a plume of black smoke in the beginning, like, that round, and then finally you heard a pop, and it tripled or quadrupled in size, the black plumes. That's all we could see.
What Nathaniel Plett did see was the aftermath of a plane crash. Two planes, in fact, that crashed in midair and killed two pilots. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Mara Lee is away. Two flying students are dead after two small planes collided in midair southeast of Winnipeg. It happened just southwest of Steinbach. RCMP say the planes crashed into each other shortly before 8:45 this morning. Joining me now live is CTV's John Hendricks. So, John, can you tell us more about what happened?
Catherine, the investigation is still ongoing, but we are piecing together some details about how the two planes crashed midair south of Steinbach.
Devastated. It's really very personal.
Adam Penner is the owner of Harv's Air, a small flight training school at the Steinbach South Airport. Penner tells CTV News the two pilots were students from the school, practicing routine takeoff and landings, and that the two planes collided while on approach just south of the runway. The company has been around for 50 years, and Penner says nothing like this has ever happened before.
It's very tough. It's kind of a small family here. The students are often from overseas, so they're a close-knit group. The instructors and staff too. We're not a big company.
Penner says the planes involved were a Cessna 152 and Cessna 172. Both are small planes that are widely used in flight training schools.
Very sad, John. So do we know what happens next?
Well, the Transportation Safety Board of Canada says it's deploying a team of investigators to the scene. The TSB will gather information and evidence, and then will try and determine what caused such a deadly mid-air collision. CTV's Jeff Keel was in Steinbach today, and he'll have much more about this story coming up on CTV News at 6.
All right, thanks for this, John. To the wildfire situation now. MKO Grand Chief Garrison Settee is describing it as a crisis, as some people are forced to evacuate for a second time.
It is very difficult because it is a harrowing experience when you transfer 8,000 people into urban areas, and a lot of them left with just one set of clothes and very little resources, like financial resources. So it's been very difficult.
Settee's comments come after evacuations in Lynn Lake and Leaf Rapids, and after Thompson declared a state of emergency. Several homes were also destroyed in Tatasqueyac Cree Nation. He said the evacuation process is particularly hard on elders and those with health conditions or mobility issues. In its latest update, the province says there are 83 active wildfires, 2 more than yesterday. The wildfire danger level across most of Manitoba is considered high or very high. A townhouse fire in Transcona sent one person to hospital in critical condition. Winnipeg fire crews were called to a fire at a 2-story building on Robson Street at around 11 last night. After fighting the fire from outside, firefighters went into the suite and finished putting out the flames. There, they found a person needing medical help. Paramedics took the person to hospital in critical condition. The fire paramedic service says damages were contained to the one suite. Investigators are now determining what started the fire. A fight between passengers aboard a northern Manitoba aircraft forced the pilots to take action. RCMP say it happened yesterday afternoon on a flight from Thompson to Taduli Lake. Two passengers started fighting, and the pilots were forced to turn the plane around and return to Thompson. Mounties were there when the plane landed. They arrested two men in their late 20s. The two are facing charges of endangering the safety of an aircraft and assault. The developers behind a major project in the Exchange District may have to adjust their plans. The Public Service is recommending the variance application for an extra height allowance for the Marketlands project be denied. The plan calls for two buildings, one between 4 and 6 stories and the other 16 stories. That would exceed the 100-foot maximum. The developers say if the application is denied, they may not be able to include as many affordable housing units as intended, and they would have to build the other building taller to compensate, which will cast a bigger shadow on the nearby Chinese gardens. In its report, the Public Service says 168 feet is still far too tall for the area's character and would set a bad precedent. Winnipeg homeowners won't be able to opt out of the city's planned new water meter system. The smart technology allows meters to be read remotely from a central location using radio transmitters. But today, EPC voted 4-2 against a motion to allow alternative options, including not having a transmitter installed on the property where there's proof of a medical exemption. 65% of the city's 221,000 water meters are past their service life and need to be replaced. The Winnipeg region set a new high watermark for home prices just last month. According to the Winnipeg Real Estate Association, June saw the highest average prices for residential detached homes and condominiums on record for that month. Residential detached homes average more than $473,000 compared to a year earlier, while condos went for about $291,000. Those prices were up 8% and 7% respectively. Two rural Manitoba cities will soon be a bit more connected, and it's all thanks to a new biking and walking trail. The Stanley Community Pathway is a trail covering the approximately 10-kilometer stretch between Morden and Winkler. It's expected to be completed this fall. The trail is the result of several years of planning by the Stanley Community Pathway Committee. The committee is made up of members of Morden and Winkler and the municipality of Stanley. The committee's chair says the 3-meter-wide trail is a symbol for unifying the two communities.
Half of the communities empty into each other every morning at the end of the day to go to work, right? And so this gives options for individuals to walk or bike to work, and recreationally as well. There's a good active cooperation between both Morden and Winkler and Stanley around tourism, and so I guess this adds another value of that to it as well.
James Friesen says the Trail Committee is still actively fundraising and is still about $1 million shy of its target. You can make donations at stanleytrailmanitoba.ca or any Morden and Winkler civic office. Brandon families will have to wait a little longer to dive into an outdoor community pool. Opening of the Kinsman pool on Park Street has been postponed. That's because the city says crews noted water loss while working on the 57-year-old pool and found multiple cracks in the circulation pipes. Repairs are underway, and the city of Brandon hopes to have the pool open later this summer. 2 additional public swim times are being offered at the Sportsplex to provide additional options. Around 390 million years ago, a fish died in what is now Manitoba's Interlake region. While unremarkable at the time, its recent discovery has paleontologists very excited. This is all that remains of Elmos teuslan darensis, so named because of its discovery near the community of Lundar. It's noteworthy because it is part of an extinct species called placoderm, which are believed to be the ancestor to all jawed vertebrates, including ourselves. Melita Jobbins, who made the discovery, says it may help scientists fill in the evolutionary record.
To understand how our jaw, for example, evolved to become the jaw that we have in our groups, but also understanding how teeth first originated, because placoderms specifically have these structures that we call teeth, which lacked enamel, which is the top layer that we have on our teeth. And these don't have that yet, but they have these other structures inside. So we get to actually build up and understand a bit more how we get to have these cool structures that we have today that's so important to us.
And if you want to find out more about this Antideluvian Progeniator, maybe I got that right, we have a story on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, or you can head down to the Geological Sciences Museum at the University of Manitoba. CTV's Daniel Halmerson joins us now with the first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. Daniel, quite the turnaround from just 24 hours ago.
Yeah, absolutely, Catherine. That rain just continued throughout the evening. Had no idea when it was actually going to end. It finally tapered off around 9. Environment Canada says we saw about 9 millimeters here in Winnipeg. Down in Sprague, though, they saw about 38 millimeters last night. So the rain moving into the southeast was quite significant. But yeah, lots of sunny skies here in Winnipeg and the surrounding area today. That air quality statement does still remain in effect. If you're curious, the pink we're seeing over the border in Ontario and down in Saskatchewan, that is extreme heat. I'll tell you shortly when we could see some here, but those air quality warnings remain in effect for around Thompson. That is, of course, due to the wildfire smoke. And another alert was issued earlier today for southeast Manitoba, right to the Ontario border. As you can see, Lac du Bonnet, Pinawa, Victoria Beach, Falcon Lake, all under air quality warnings tonight. But as for now, it is pretty beautiful outright here in the city. A little smoky overhead, but 27 degrees, feeling closer to 29. The wind out of the west, southwest at 14 kilometers per hour. The pressure's rising, the humidity sitting at 40%, Catherine.
The Bathfitter Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
And a look out on Osborne, southbound traffic moving a little slow. I saw an alert about 15 minutes ago of a stalled car at Osborne and River heading south. So hopefully that's getting cleared up soon for folks making the drive home.
At that point, a second suspect normally comes on the phone claiming to be law enforcement or a lawyer, requesting for the payment.
Authorities have caught a Canadian man wanted for defrauding hundreds of seniors out of millions of dollars in savings. More about the Grandparent scam after the break.
Get Winnipeg's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
The alleged ringleader of a massive, sophisticated scam that preyed on unsuspected seniors for millions has been arrested. Wanted by Canadian and U.S. authorities since March, the suspect could face decades in prison. Here's CTV's Matt Gilmore on where he operated from and how he pulled it off.
The rough estimate is a $2 million investment.
He presents himself online as a wealthy real estate investor. But if the allegations against him are true, much of Gareth West's money was really coming from an elaborate conspiracy to defraud unsuspecting seniors across the United States. West is one of 25 Canadians formally accused in a U.S. federal indictment of running a grandparent scam, where fraudsters trick individuals into believing a loved one is in legal trouble and in urgent need of bail money. Jeff Horncastle is with the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre.
At that point, a second suspect normally comes on the phone claiming to be law enforcement or a lawyer, requesting for the payment, typically in cash.
What's up, guys? My name is Gareth West.
23 of the 25 defendants were arrested back in March, but West and one other have been at large since. The RCMP says West was arrested on July 4th in the town of Saint-Colomban, about an hour north of Montreal. Police say he did not resist arrest and is now facing possible extradition to the United States. West is also accused of money laundering and, if found guilty, could face up to 40 years in prison.
Scams in general, how they come from overseas for the most part, but this, it proves that it's not always the case, and highlights the importance of reporting to your local law enforcement and to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre.
He says the grandparent scam alone costs Canadians a reported $33 million every year. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The Anti-Fraud Centre estimates only 5 to 10% of fraud gets reported.
Always try to make the outgoing phone call, especially when there's a request for money or personal information.
Matt Gilmore, CTV News, Montreal.
My name's Piff the Magic Dragon.
Some entertaining shows are coming to Winnipeg, including a America's Got Talent star. Your spotlight is next. Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Night Ranger.
Daniel Homerson has your spotlight today. I understand the Club Region Event Center has announced a slew of entertaining new shows.
That's right, and one of them is bringing the laughs and thrills of Las Vegas to Winnipeg.
Champion.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
All the way from Las Vegas, give it up for Piff the Magic Dragon.
Now that's America's Got Talent star Piff the Magic Dragon. He's bringing his Las Vegas-themed entertainment spectacular to Club Region Event Center October 26th. The show features circus artists, hilarious comedians, and impossible illusions. And Lucy Rose is the ultimate Britney Spears tribute. Her vocals and ability to imitate the style and behavior of the Princess of Pop sets Rose apart. Experience Absolute Britney on November 21st. Also on the marquee, medium Teresa Caputo and a Canadian classic rock double bill featuring Prism and Haywire. You remember them? Get more information by going to the Casinos of Winnipeg website.
Meanwhile, TikTok is preparing to shut down operations in Canada.
And it's pulling itself as a sponsor of two major Canadian art institutions. The social media giant has partnered with the Toronto International Film Festival since 2022 and the Juno Music Awards since 2020. The federal government ordered TikTok to shut down its Canadian operations, citing national security concerns, although Canadian users can, thank God, still access the app.
Good to know. Okay, and Coldplay has arrived here in Canada.
That's right, and they wrapped up their first of 4 shows in Toronto. It was the first time the band has played Toronto in more than 8 years. During the show, Chris Martin thanked the crowd for making their way to this weird stadium in the middle of nowhere. The concerts are happening at the new Rogers Stadium. Fans are reporting a smoother concert experience than the first ever show at the venue last week. People said there was better signage, more bathrooms, and more staff directing people out of the stadium. Coldplay will play their second show tonight, then 2 more on Friday and Saturday.
Interesting. All right, thanks for that, Daniel.
And you can kick off your primetime lineup at 7 with E-Talk, then catch all the action on The Amazing Race Canada, and stick around as Battle of the Generations closes out the night at 10. It's only here on CTV. And a look out on Portage near Polo Park. Traffic moving relatively well. 27 here in Winnipeg right now, feeling a little warmer with the Humidex.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Well, it's been a beautiful afternoon here in Winnipeg. After that rainy Monday, we saw plenty of sunshine, a little bit of smoke out there, but really can't complain. Now, as I mentioned earlier, air quality warnings and statements in effect for most of the province, specifically up in the Thompson area. That's where one warning, and then near Lac du Pont, of course, due to wildfire smoke. Taking a look over the next few hours, a relatively clear evening throughout most of the province. Now, as we move overnight, much of the same into Wednesday morning. Now, as we head through the day, you can see a bit of activity up north in the late afternoon. Now, a lot of folks are heading to the stadium tomorrow night for that Rock and Thunder concert. Looking pretty good for when that kicks off. That storm could roll through a little later into Thursday morning, so chance of some showers and the risk of a thunderstorm as well. on Thursday. Some more showers rolling through the province. The second part of that concert series happening on Thursday night. That's some country music for you. Tonight here in Winnipeg, 13 degrees, mainly clear skies, wind coming out of the south at 10 kilometers per hour. Tomorrow, more sun and high temperatures, 28 degrees, but that wind picking up 30, gusting up to 50 in the afternoon. And if we take a look, our UV index hot and very high. And our long-range forecast, Thursday, there is a chance of showers, a high of 31 here in Winnipeg. As we head into the weekend, Folk Fest weekend, mix of sun and cloud on both Saturday and Sunday, and much the same on Monday. Our first weather pick of the day comes from Tanya out at Bird River. That's from her deck where she's enjoying a nice cup of coffee. And our second one is from Pat out at Winnipeg Beach. And if you look, a lot of seagulls gathering. You can send your pictures to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Daniel. There was a party to kick off the summer at Winnipeg's most famous intersection today. It was high fives all around at Portage in Main. The Downtown Winnipeg Biz and Exchange District Biz organized a coordinated pedestrian crossing during the noon hour today. The intersection opened to pedestrians on June 27th. People were giving high fives as they crossed through 4 large temporary steel archways. It was the start of a summer full of events in the heart of the city's downtown.
We've got lots of activities over at 201 Portage, and folks can easily just cross the street, go back and forth, grab some lunch, go over there, listen to some live music, what have you. It's just really a fun afternoon to celebrate the connectivity of this area.
To check out what's happening at Portage in Main this summer, visit the Downtown Winnipeg Biz website. I feel like a bad Winnipegger. I haven't crossed yet.
I haven't been there either.
Well, maybe we need to do it tomorrow at lunch.
Yeah.
We'll do the high fives.
Just our own high fives, just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
Yeah,
a little
okay.
sadder than what we just saw, but still fun.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
We'll do our best.
We will. All right, that's going to do it for us. CTV Nationalist Sandy Ronaldo starts now, and we'll see you back here for CTV News at 6.